morning, and welcome to our flagpole prayer service. Our scripture passage for this month recounts the visit of the wise men from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 2, verses 2 to 12. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet, And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. And from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly, and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. He sent him to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, that I too may come and worship him. After listening to the king, they went on their way. And behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them, until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their country by another way. In this post-Christmas season, it's easy to fall back on our weekly routines and focus on what we can do for ourselves. Amid the predictable slew of tests, projects, and essays, we hardly consider what we can do for other people in our community. But it doesn't need to be Christmas to give something to the people around you. Sometimes all they need is to sit down and talk. Their time and attention are worth more than the box of See's candies. Last month, I volunteered at the Alzheimer's Activity Center in San Jose to fulfill my junior service hours. The club, as it's called, serves around 50 seniors with varying stages of dementia. Walking in, I was expecting to physically help them out, like maybe guide them on the computer or serve them food or water. I couldn't have been more wrong. On my first day, I was assigned to a small table to talk with Richard, a soft-spoken man with a Vietnam War veteran hat. Hello, Richard, I began, having seen his name tag. Good morning. What's your name, son? Grant, I responded, shaking his hand. You in school? Yeah, I go to St. Francis in Mountain View. He gave me a thoughtful nod. Play any sports? I mean, not really. I'm in my school's marching band, but not anything else active. I bowl with my friends once in a while and sometimes play golf with my dad. Ah, golf, he exclaimed. Golf is always a good sport, real fun to get about my age. Sometimes you just feel a little crick in your back and you can't swing no more. He laughed. I then asked him about his life, and he explained his experiences in the war, how his family had been sharecroppers in Texas, why he'd come to California. His next question for me, though, caught me a bit off guard. What's your name, son? Oh, or Grant. You in school? Yeah, I go to St. Francis in Mountain View. Another thoughtful nod. Play any sports? And this is how it went for about half an hour. I counted 5 or 6 loops of this almost scripted conversation. Our time together took on a whole new meaning beyond the words we spoke. I was offering Richard a chance to open up, which evidently he didn't get to do that much. It didn't matter what he said. All that mattered was that I listened. I noted that, like Richard, most people at the club hardly got a chance to talk. Staff members frequently shuttled them around to different rooms, dismissing any tempting conversation with a very nice or sorry, I have to go now. They simply didn't have the time to talk, but I did. Much of my service was thus spent giving myself to the people who needed company. Another man, Dave, spent more than 2 hours telling me his life story. He told me he was lonely. Every day he was left at the club by his wife, and outside of that, rarely got to see his kids who moved away. I didn't think I was doing much, but he thanked me emphatically for taking the time to listen to him. It took about 5 minutes for us to say goodbye. All of the clients, no matter how playful, were lonely in their own ways. Claudia, a feisty Spanish-speaking lady, cracked jokes to me about the staff members, who she nicknamed the Crazies. I sometimes had no clue what I was laughing about, since my Spanish isn't the best, but I felt like I was making a difference for her. I made out that, like Dave, she was dropped off every day by her husband and rarely got to see her family. On my last day of service, she gravitated toward me as I walked through the main room, and the staff member had to peel her off me. Who knew a couple hours of company would make such a big difference for her? Now, it would be tedious to describe every encounter I had at the club. I met people from all walks of life and learned to connect with them in a unique way. At the end of it, I didn't even notice their dementia, instead focusing on what they had to share with me and how I can make them comfortable. The spirit of giving doesn't have to end after Christmas, and it doesn't have to be tangible. Just think back to the Magi. everyone remembers the gold, frankincense, and myrrh, but is this why we celebrate today's gospel passage? No. Their arduous travel from the distant east to follow a star made their sheer presence more significant than anything tangible they could offer Christ. Our presence for someone else can likewise be more significant than any actual presence. So many people, like the seniors at the club, would much prefer a listening ear over a Starbucks gift card. When we're with our friends, family, or anyone willing to sit down and talk, we should simply give ourselves.